Welcome back, everybody. I'm the Doc Bob Lee for 107.5 WBLS. Our next guest is the founder and CEO of Strong Interactive, and he joins us to speak about his transition from working as a philanthropy advisor to pro athletes, entertainers, and business leaders to working in the technology space as a tech entrepreneur and change agent. Please welcome to the show, Jonathan Herman. Jonathan, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Very happy to be here.
Jonathan, I see you in a number of different places, and I recognize your face. I don't know if we met in person, maybe at one of the locations. I've done a lot with a couple of the basketball players. I know you're associated with them too. But let's jump right in. Can you tell us a little bit about your early career in sports and entertainment?
Sure, absolutely. So really coming out of college, I was fortunate enough to work with Columbia Records years ago with Sandra Trindacosta.
Yes.
Really came to understand the basics of the music industry at that time. It was in a stage of transition, really, moving more into the digital realm, but we were still really in the early stages of that. And was able to learn under Sandra Trindacosta, followed her onto GRP Records, where we did marketing for jazz releases at the time. And, just gained a tremendous amount of experience, really still being early in my career. Eventually went on to law school, learned sports and entertainment contracts from two entertainment law firms in Los Angeles. And that was really the first orientation I had into the space.
There you go. What can you tell us about your time working in an advisor role to pro athletes and with celebrities? And, I know you worked with a lot of them, and I don't know, is that the DMC there with you?
It is.
Yeah,
absolutely. It sure is.
Yeah. Out of Jamaica, Queens, yeah.
That's
Tell us
right.
about that time working with all of these celebrities.
Piggybacking upon those years, we started a company to bring entertainment online. And I'm kind of dating myself a little bit, but this was before iTunes. We were still primarily buying records in the stores at the time. But there were a few of us that understand what was happening in this transition that was moving into the online and digital delivery of entertainment content. So we started a company to do that. We began working with various recording artists and then started a marketing firm that began working with pro athletes and entertainers. Allen Houston was one of the first folks who we worked with. I ran Allen Houston's foundation for more than 10 years because it turned out that Allen was very much committed to philanthropy. And that was really his primary interest and orientation at the time.
That's where we probably crossed paths, because I've done a lot of things with Allen Houston and his foundation too. And also the phone company. Wasn't it a phone company that did some things on 6th or 8th Avenue? He opened up a few shops or something like that?
Yes. There were also entrepreneurial ventures that Allen was involved in at the time. But based on that success, David Robinson, who's now in the NBA Hall of Fame, asked me to work with him and some of his philanthropic interests. Chris Paul in New Orleans. We did a project that also supported Russell Simmons' work. So there were lots of years working specifically in sports and entertainment philanthropy and developing relationships in those industries.
Yeah. What was the turning point, moment, or conversation that sparked that transition from your career in sports and entertainment to, say, technology?
Well, I always had an underpinning in technology, was always really most interested in that space. We began to see some of the transition that was happening. We began doing websites. These were some of the first fan-based websites for professional athletes and entertainers, helping them build a digital presence, transitioned into being a small owner of a mobile app company in New York City that worked with Johnson & Johnson and others. So for me, being a tech entrepreneur is really my first passion. And I was able to connect the dots to the experience and what I had learned in sports and entertainment.